Hello friends, it's Charlene with Charlene's Heartfelt Creations. Today I'm going to walk you through how to make a Monopoly rosette with Monopoly money. You're going to start with 7 bills, 6 of which you will score, the 7th you're going to save for later. I scored all these bills at a 1/4 inch using my scoring board. You don't have to have a scoring board, you can just fold them. I just like the way that the scoring gives it a nice crisp look. I also think it makes it just a tad easier to fold them. So I make these in batches. I will get orders for these in large batches, and I will sit and score all of my bills at one time and then do all of the folding and then all the gluing and putting together and so forth. I would like to give a shout out to my pen pal, Carrie. She is actually the inspiration for this project. She told me that she liked Monopoly, so I created a Monopoly journal for her, and I wanted to send her some extras. And so I came up with making a rosette with Monopoly money. The one I did for her was actually made with original Monopoly money. These ones here are from Amazon and they're double-sided, but these work so great for the rosettes. The paper is a little bit thicker than your normal Monopoly money, and I love that they're double-sided. So if you're going to hang it on a tree, it's got a nice finished look. Carrie actually sent me these bills, and they are from Amazon. So if you don't have any Monopoly money or game money at home in your stash, you can always go right onto Amazon and order these. These are game money. It doesn't say Monopoly money on them. And they're a good dupe because when they're folded up like they are, you can't tell that it's not authentic Monopoly money, but it's a pretty good dupe. Now here, I am taking my Big Shot and I'm going to cut out that circle because we're going to attach the circle for each denomination of money onto the rosette that coordinates with it. Next, I'm going to take some black cardstock and cut out 2 circles using my die cuts. One of them, the smaller one, is the size of the little money circle there that we just cut out. And then the other one is larger to be the backing of the one, the little money circle. For now, just set the little circles aside and we'll assemble all that later on. The next step is to fan fold each one of these. So what would you use Monopoly rosettes for? Would you use them for parties or milestones, holiday decorations? I think that the 100 would be super cute for like the 100th day of school, or like the 50 for a 50th birthday party, or the 20 for like a 20th anniversary. Here I'm just taking and folding it in half after I have fan folded it. And I'm just going to put some glue on there. And then I clamp each one of them and let them dry. Back to the Christmas tree idea. Another really cool thing to do would be to get little tiny frames and to take like the suspect cards from games like Clue or some of the Monopoly money or something. You could frame that stuff and string it up on the tree. Frames are really cute on the tree. The other thing you could do is take game money and decoupage on frames and then put your little family photos in there and hang them on your theme tree. There's just so many different things you can do with board games. It's amazing. So I'm not going to make you watch me fold all the bills. There's going to be a time lapse here. There it is. And I'm folding the last remaining bill. I'm going to fold it in half and glue it. You also want to make sure that your edges are lined up, or you're going to have a really wonky looking rosette if things are not even and lined up. So we're going to take these and I glue them into sections of 2 and let them dry. And then once they're dry, I take them and we'll glue the other sections together. There's also going to be a time lapse here because I'm not going to have you watch glue dry with me. Another thing I want to point out here is the clamps I'm using are from Dollar Tree. I prefer these over other clamps because with the little rubber pieces on the ends, it does not leave a indentation in your paper as the papers are drying. I figured while those are drying, we'll go ahead and assemble the circle that's going to go on the front. Here I accidentally tried to put it on the smaller circle. It needs to go on the larger one. So the larger one is for the front of your rosette and the smaller one is for the back. It gives it a nice finished look, but it also adds a little bit of extra stability to it. And here we're just going to glue the sections together like we've been doing all along, clamping them, gluing them, same pattern. Now, again, I didn't want you to have to watch glue dry with me, so there are some more time lapse in here. Also, if you're really heavy-handed with your glue, you're going to want to go through each individual section before you glue it to the next one and make sure they're completely fanned out, because it will seep and everything will stick. If some of them stick, it's not too big of a deal. You can fan it out, and sometimes you can't really tell that there's extra stuck together. I highly recommend fanning it out just so you can make sure. I do it periodically throughout my projects as well, just to make sure that I'm not going to have just a compressed stack of money. But a little bit of glue goes a long way with this project, so you don't need to be super heavy-handed with it. I really like the glue I'm using. I purchased it from Hobby Lobby and it's got a nice thin tip. Here we're just going to go ahead and glue the last little bit of the rosette together. And I take my clamps at this point and I bunch it together and then take the clamps and slide them up. They're not fully closed when I'm sliding them, but I slide them up as far as I can get them just to give it a nice strong hold, and I'll leave it to dry for a little while. Now we're taking the clamps off and I'm making sure that things are not too stuck together on that side where I just glued. At this time you can also take scissors and trim down sections. The sections where you glue the bills together sometimes don't always line up perfectly. And so I will take my scissors and just trim those down so it has a more flushed surface. That way things like the circles will sit flat. Also, if you do end up trimming one of the folded edges, it's pretty easy to fix. All you have to do is glue the rosette together. At that point, it's going to be kind of difficult to notice it unless you're really inspecting it. Now we're going to go ahead and attach the circles to the front and the back. And I'm just using a double-sided tape runner to go ahead and do this. The only thing left to do now is to punch a hole and add some twine. I would love to hear from you on any ideas that you have for using these, what your thoughts are, if you've made them before. It's just a really fun little project. Or if you have any other board game ephemera you've made or decorations, please share. I would love to see it. I love crafting with board games. I love Christmas. So anything that I can incorporate into Christmas is so much fun. Last week I picked up a Christmas board game and I'm getting ready to pull out all my Christmas board games, cards, books, things like that. And I'm getting ready. I'm gearing up for Christmas season and ready to journal Christmas stuff. I think my next video may end up being me showing you all the wonderful Christmas things I have to craft with. Now is the time to be picking that stuff up in the thrift stores. There's so much of it and it's super cheap. Nobody's looking at Christmas because it's still so hot out and they're getting ready for back to school and stuff like that. So this is a great time to be picking that stuff up. Thank you for creating with me today. And these are available in my Etsy shop for order. If you do make one, please share it in the comments. Until next time, bye.